So hello everyone, welcome to our today's seminar. My name is Mike Dietrich. With me today is Daniel Overby Hansen. We'd like to guide you through upgrades to Oracle Database 23 AI. A database upgrade to 23 AI, as to any other database, starts typically with an analyze phase. So you check your source environment, you check if everything is ready, then you will hit the upgrade button and you will move forward. And here your best tool, your best friend is AutoUpgrade. And we will show you a special technique today to speed up things called Refreshable clone PDBs. And then at some point, you go live. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Now, when you are in an Exadata environment, there's one thing you really need to take care before you start with Oracle Database 23 AI. You must upgrade or patch your Exadata system software to the highest level. Currently, while we speak, this is 24.1.6, but there's a MOS node on the slide, and we highly recommend that you check this MOS node upfront for the most recent version, and you apply this before you start, especially if you want to use exascale as well. Then the next step is, since most of you or many of you have a RUC environment, you should upgrade your grid infrastructure, because you can't run Oracle Database 23 AI in GI19C. So next step then is upgrading grid infrastructure to 23 AI. And one really important thing to note here is you can't have any older database releases than 19C then. So as soon as you lift the grid infrastructure to 23 AI, there's no 11204 or 12102 databases anymore. And one of the technical reasons for that is we need to also lift the ASM RDBMS compatibility to 19C. And as soon as you've done that, you can't run all the databases below 19C anymore in ASM. And if you use exascale, it's 23 AI anyway. Next step in your environments, in your landscapes, is you should check your clients. It's best if you lift your clients also up front to 23 AI. And when we have a quick look now at the interoperability matrix from my Oracle support for client and servers, we will see quickly when we lift our database version to 23 AI, we can use clients 19C, 21, or 23 AI. It could be that older clients may work as well, but we never tested this. So you see a red no in this line, in this column, and it can work, but you shouldn't try it. So bring up your clients at first. Something just to look back, when your server is 19C, you can also use 23i clients, which is good. So you can lift the clients at first. And even if you have some older clients for 19C, that would work nicely as well. How do you find out which clients you're using? There's a view in the database, extremely helpful here. GV $session connect info tells you which version most clients are, and you get a very good overview. So check this up front. And with this, Daniel, I think you should take on here and talk about how to upgrade in the cloud.
Thank you, Mike. Now that we've done our homework and done the preparations needed, let's actually upgrade our databases. In the cloud, it is super easy to upgrade. You simply just press a button, and that's it. Using the cloud tooling, that is the convenient path, the easy path. You just hit the button or call the right command, and the cloud tooling underneath the hood will do all the magic for you. But that will upgrade the entire container databases with multiple PDBs, and of course that takes more time than just upgrading a single PDB. The fastest possible upgrade, that is by upgrading a single PDB. If you want to do that, you can use AutoUpgrade and Refreshable clone PDBs, where you can move your database from the old 19C CDB into a new database and just upgrade that single PDB. AutoUpgrade will do that by building a copy of your PDB. We can do that with any outage. We just do it in the background, and we then roll forward with redo until you're ready to take that outage, where we will grab the very last changes, disconnect the new PDB, and then upgrade that to 23 AI. So imagine that you have a PDB running on 19C. You then build a new system on 23AI with a new empty container database. It could also be on the same server if you have Exadata systems with multiple databases on the same host. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that we can establish a database link from the new CDB back to our original PDB. Then AutoUpgrade can copy the PDB behind the scenes. We do that over the database link. And then after that, we can keep it current with redo from the source database. At this point in time, there's no outage. So it doesn't matter if your database is huge because we can copy the PDB in advance. We can then repeatedly take the redo, and then when you're ready, at your will, we can then start the outage. We do a final refresh so all the latest changes come into the PDB before we then upgrade it to 23AI and you can start to enjoy the new features there. And the really cool thing about this is that we don't touch the original PDB. So if something happens in this process, well, you have a really good rollback option because you can just restart the original PDB. I would like to show you a demo where I upgrade a 19C PDB called Sales to 23AI. This is my source database. It's currently on version 1926, and I want to upgrade the Sales PDB to the latest version. Refreshable clone PDBs works over a database link, so I need a user and the privileges to connect. I'll switch to the target database. Currently, it's an empty CDB on Oracle Database 23AI. I need a database link that points to my source PD, and I'll connect using the user I just created. This is my AutoUpgrade config file. I specify that I want to upgrade the sales PDB and put it into CDB23. CDB23 is running Oracle Database 23AI. By giving the name of the database link, I'm telling AutoUpgrade to use refreshable clone PDBs for this upgrade. Now I start AutoUpgrade in deploy mode. It immediately starts to copy the PDB. At this point, there's no downtime on the sales PDB. I can use the LSJ command to monitor the progress. After a few minutes, I can see that the PDB has been copied. Now AutoUpgrade refreshes the copy with redo from the sales PDB to keep it up to date. I'll switch back to the real sales PDB. I'll enter some data so I know that no data is lost in the process. I'll remember the new data, 1000. Now back in the target, CDB23. Although it's currently 58 minutes away from the scheduled cutover, I'm ahead of my plans and I want to start the upgrade right away. I can do that with the proceed command. Now, AutoUpgrade performs a final refresh so no data is lost before proceeding with the upgrade. The upgrade runs for a little while. That's it, the job has completed. This means that the PDB has been upgraded and it also completed all the post-upgrade tasks. Now I'll connect to CDB23. It now has the sales PDB, which has been upgraded to Oracle Database 23AI. And that new data I entered, 1000, is there as well. As you saw in the demo, this feature is really useful. In our team, we are very impressed with this feature, so we've worked with a number of our reference customers and have them come with some feedback on this tool. One of them is Zürcher Kantonalbank, where Christian Marquardt, the database specialist, gave us this feedback that they were really impressed with their tool and they used it for their migrations onto new systems. It's very stable, it's very easy to use. So by upgrading with AutoUpgrade and refreshable clones, you can really minimize the downtime needed to go to 23AI. It is still fully automated by AutoUpgrade, as you saw in the demo, and you have a really excellent rollback option. You can use AutoUpgrade and refreshable clone PDBs for upgrades, but there are multiple use cases where this can be really useful as well. You can use it for cloning into test systems, or you can move PDBs between clouds. If you just have a few PDBs to move around, it's probably easiest to just use AutoUpgrade. If you have many, you can use DMS or CDM instead. Also, if you come from on-prem, you can use the same functionality, and even if your source database is a non-CDB, well, part of the upgrade, we can convert it into a proper PDB as well. Now, before we could go live on 23AI, Mike has a few final touches that he would like to make.
Yes, happy to do so. It looks good so far. We have moved over. Now let's see what we have to do in addition. And one thing we really need to keep an eye on is, as much as Daniel and I, we love refreshable clone PDBs. It's a fantastic feature. It makes things so much easier. There's one thing to note here. It doesn't propagate to the standby. So once you have built up the refreshable clone and refreshed going forward and upgraded, you must also ensure that you restored your PDB to the standby site. So keep an eye on it. This is really important. Furthermore, biggest fear of DBAs, I would say, is always any sort of unexpected performance surprises. Something which is not working as expected. So it's really key that you enable performance stability. And one of the most important features here is SQL plan management, allowing you to nail down your execution plans. We have a full 2-hour seminar on that where we explain our so-called performance stability prescription. So go to our blogs and access the webinar about performance stability, and you will find all the tricks. In addition, 23i offers some extension like real-time SQL plan management, which is really a super cool feature. Then it wouldn't be our seminar if we wouldn't have a few secret underscore parameters included here. And one we recommend for a long time already, unless you have really hundreds of PDBs, but for the average customer environment, you should set cursor obsolete threshold equals 1024 as an underscore. This is really key to avoid any sort of really unexpected performance surprises. Only if you have like hundreds of PDBs within one CDB, then you should leave it on a default. But everybody else, you should set underscore cursor obsolete threshold 1024. And there's another one we would like to tell you here about. Typically in all your environments, optimize adaptive statistics is false. And this also turns off the SQL plan directives. Still, the database is collecting SQL plan directives in the background and storing them in your sysocs table space. If you think that shouldn't be happen, then you please set underscore SQL plan directive management control equals 0. And this will turn off the collection of SQL plan directives completely in your databases. Yeah, the final tip we can give you here is, now if you're really keen to try it out, before you approach it in your live environments, play around with our lab. We have a live labs environment called a Hitchhiker's Guide for Upgrading Oracle Databases to 23i. Try it out there. You can test everything you have seen so far and even much, much more. Refreshable clones, performance stability prescription, test the underscores, whatever you want. Do it. This is the lab to play around with. With that, we hope you are now equipped to move to Oracle Database 23i. And we would thank for your attention. Thank you so much. And have very successful database upgrades.